Ladies and gentlemen, it is official. The boys are all in. I repeat, the boys are all in. And by the boys, I mean the Seattle Mariners. They are all in to try to be not just good, but great going forward starting now. They are pushing their chips in, they are spending the money, and for the first time in a while, it seems like they got a real chance to pull this off. So, got this news about 15, 20 minutes ago on Twitter from Jeff Passan and confirmed by other sources as well. Reigning American League Cy Young winner Robbie Ray and the Seattle Mariners are finalizing a 5-year, $115 million contract with an opt-out after the third season. Sources familiar with the deal tell ESPN. So, maybe the best pitcher in the league last year, the best pitcher in the American League at least, is headed to the Seattle Mariners, and he joins a rotation that needed an ace. That rotation now has their ace. They now go fairly deep with guys with potential and guys with proven track records of success. They join a lineup that has a lot of reason to be optimistic about their ability to score runs in 2022. And more than any of that, it officially signals that this front office was not kidding when they said they were going to take this opportunity to acquire elite players and be willing to spend some money. So this is probably the big one, right? This rotation needed another big arm. This rotation needed a 180, 200 inning guy. They needed an ace. They needed somebody that they could go to war with in a playoff game if it comes to that. They got him. They now have one of the best pitchers in the league as of the most recent MLB season, and they have him on a long-term big money contract. So there were some people getting a little antsy on Mariners Twitter lately saying, why aren't we spending the money? Look at what Texas is doing. Look at what Texas is doing. Why aren't we doing what the Texas Rangers are doing or the New York Mets? Look at what they're doing. Why don't we do it? No. No, we did it. It just took us a couple more days than a couple other teams. So I'm excited regardless of if this works or not, because we took the plunge and we took a good plunge. Even if this doesn't end up working out, this is a reasonable gamble to take. Let me just say that right now. Even if this ends up not working out for some reason, as a front office, this looks like a good decision, a reasonable decision to make. So, Robbie Ray, the player, I've talked about him a little bit. Lefty, 6'2", just turned 30, so he's actually younger than me. So, he should have good years in front of him. We are not going to be paying him into his early 40s or anything like that. There's a lot to be optimistic about for not just the immediate returns on the contract, but the long-term gains of the contract, right? It's not like we're going to be getting 3 good years and then we got to pay him a ton of money over the last 2 years when he's old and fat and can't do nothing. That shouldn't be the case. So, taking a look at Robbie Ray as a player, there is a concern that we got to talk about this here. So last year he won the Cy Young, 2.84 ERA, but his FIP was 3.7. So he was a little lucky. He probably should have been more of a 3.7 ERA type pitcher, but good defense, good luck, things like this that affect whether or not the results actually match the performance. They went his way in 2021. I think that's totally fair to say. Now, the good news is he earned that. He almost had 250 strikeouts in 32 starts. He was getting guys to swing and miss. He was getting the ball past the batters. He was earning it a lot. He was one of the best strikeout pitchers among starters in the league last year, I believe, in terms of strikeout rate. So he was earning it. He was not just going out there and depending completely on his elite defense to bail him out. There was some of that, but he's also throwing a lot of strikeouts. Now, Robbie Ray, his ERA plus last year was 154. So the real concern is that is kind of, not totally, but it's a little bit of an aberration if you look over the depth of his career. All right, so 2021, he has a 154 ERA plus, great ERA, sub 2.9. But if you take a look at 2020, when he only played in 12 games, his ERA was terrible, over 6.5. He was a very bad pitcher. In 2019, he was okay, about league average, 4.34 ERA. He was right around the median point of pitchers in the major league. 2018, he was slightly above average. He was okay. And then 2017, okay, he had a great year there. He actually, by ERA plus, had an even better year, 2.89 ERA. Again, he caught the better end of some luck, but great pitcher. But what I'm trying to get at here is if you look over the body of work over his career, 2021 for him is a little bit of an aberration. And I don't think I need to explain to you guys why him having an aberration year and him being in a contract year could be related. However, that doesn't mean you don't take this risk. That doesn't mean this is a bad signing. That doesn't mean that you need to just keep your powder dry until the perfect guy comes along. You're not going to find that perfect guy. The perfect guys are being re-signed by their teams because they're willing to move heaven and earth to keep them. So whatever you do when you bring in a big-time player, there's going to be a risk. Like, you're not going to get Mike Trout, okay? Mike Trout, the Angels aren't going to let him get away. That perfect player, that guy who you can't say anything bad about, the only way to get him is to bring him up through your farm system and keep him for years and years and groom him for years and years. When you're going out to get big free agents, yeah, you're going to, if you check behind the washing machine, you might find a little bit of a dent. But is the washing machine going to work for you for several years? Is it going to clean your clothes? If the answer is yes, then you got to go with it. So even though Robbie Ray is probably not as good as his Cy Young season last year, there's reason to believe that he is a very good pitcher, an ace. He's had 2 seasons out of the last 5 where he's looked like a number 1 superstar ace. And I like the fact that his strikeout rate is so high. That again proves that he is doing a lot of this on his own. It's not just like, oh, he's got some superstar infield that's bailing him out from giving up 5+ runs a game. So I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Now, if you take a look at this rotation, Robbie Ray's the number 1. In all likelihood, he's your ace. You got Logan Gilbert, who has a lot of positive energy to build on going into 2022 after what he did in 2021. Marco, if he can have a bounce back year, even a small bounce back, he's going to be a perfectly capable number 3. Perfectly capable. Chris Flexen, solid last year, solid starting pitcher. If he's your number 4, or even if he has to be your number 3 because Marco doesn't bounce back or Logan has a sophomore slump of some sort, yeah, it's okay. And then at number 5, you've got options. You've got Justin Dunn. If he's healthy this year, he looked good last year in his first 11 starts before he got hurt. Maybe it's Justin Dunn. Maybe you re-sign Tyler Anderson. He was pretty good for us last year. Maybe James Paxton comes back. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that guy right now. I don't know if I want to trust him, but you got options for that number 5 hole. And honestly, if Justin Dunn has a good year and you bring in one more guy as like a, pseudo long reliever like a Tyler Anderson or like a James Paxton, you could go 6 deep for at least the start of the season. Now, pretty quickly, one of those guys might weed themselves out, but you could at the start. So, big news here. It is an announcement by this front office that they're ready to go. They like their young guys. They like the potential of their lineup. They like the potential of their rotation. They just want to add on to it a little bit here and there. And this was the big one. This was the big need. So now I want to add another third baseman or a guy who can play third base who has some pop to replace Kyle Seager's 35 home runs. And we got to build up the bullpen. We need some stuff in the bullpen. And these are things that are very, very doable. These are things that you would expect any semi-competent front office to be able to put together. Get a bullpen together, and we're looking good. And then let Toro be your utility player because you've got a really good third baseman starting day to day. We talk about Trevor Story, we talk about Suzuki, whoever it may be, fine. But this was the big hurdle, getting that ace pitcher, not depending on Logan Gilbert to become Clayton Kershaw in one off season. Now we don't have to do that. So hopefully it works out. Hopefully he doesn't completely fall apart this season now that he's gotten paid. I mean, if you look at his projections, Baseball Reference thinks that he will slip a little bit. They have him going down to a 3.8 ERA. But I don't think it has to be this extreme. It could be a little less extreme than this. He should continue to earn strikeouts. He should continue to earn a lot of his outs. So if we can get something around the 3.5 or 3.4 range, I'm going to be pretty happy living with that. And there's still work to be done. Like I said, give me Trevor Story if he can play third. Give me Chris Bryant if he can play third. Give me Suzuki if he can play third. But we got a lot less to worry about now. All right, see you guys later. Go Mariners. Catch y'all after the game tonight.